CQDX, CQDX, CQDX. This is Havana calling. CQDX, CQDX, CQDX. This is Radio Havana calling all shortwave listeners and radio amateurs. Welcome to DXers Unlimited, Radio Havana's weekly feature dedicated to the fascinating world of radio communications.
Hola amigos radio aficionados all around the world and orbiting planet Earth. Happy holidays for you all, and do enjoy playing with your radios a lot during the end of 2017 and the beginning of 2018. During the holidays, enjoy your radios. I am Arnaldo Arnicoro, Radio Amateur CO2KK, your host here at the weekend edition of DXers Unlimited, coming to you from Radio Havana, Cuba. And yes, I'm sure this is your favorite radio hobby program, and here is item 1 of today's show. And now, a snapshot of solar activity that shows very clearly how cycle 24 continues its track towards the now just around the corner upcoming solar minimum. It's very near now. So far this year, 2017, we have experienced many more days of zero sunspots than those that happened last year. Actually, at last count, 101 days by my last count, that equates to 28% of the year without sunspots in sight. When I started to write the script for this weekend show, solar activity continues to be very low, so it may happen that from now on we will see several more days with a totally black sun before the year's end. By the way, going back to 2016, it saw 32 days without sunspots. And during the year 2015, our nearest star, the sun, was at a much more active state, so every single day of 2015 saw at least one sunspot group in sight, registered by solar optical observations. It's quite clear for me that 2016 marks the start of the decline of solar cycle 24. Now, item 2. I'm very happy to see how much interest is generated among DXers Unlimited listeners around the world every time a home building of radio topic is presented here in the show. Interaction with listeners that have built and tested some projects published here has provided excellent feedback to improve some of those designs, including several receivers that work very, very well indeed. Aiming at making possible to build at home radio receivers and transmitters, I decided to lay out a set of rules, with the number one of them all stating that the circuit diagram should only use PART, electronic components that are presently available in most countries around the world. That's a restriction I have placed myself. That limitation led to looking around at recycling as a possible alternative source of parts, something that has proven to be quite effective and, of course, free of charge. Just to give you an example, there's an ever-increasing amount of what may be described as electronic junk that should be taken apart to enrich your parts bins. And if you do it properly, you will have a lot of parts available. My most recent acquisitions were two very well-built, old-built computer uninterruptible power supply units, UPS units, that could not be repaired because of the fact that they use some very rare integrated circuits that could not be found locally, so they were sent to the junk yard. Nevertheless, the two units provided two excellent rugged, very well-built power transformers, a number of high-current silicon rectifiers and their heat dissipation systems, several high-power MOS FET devices, and many other small parts, plus the line cords, the fuse boxes, and the metal cabinet. Excellent cabinets, by the way. One of the two units ended up easily converted into an excellent battery charger to keep a pair of high ampere-hour rating lead-acid batteries at maximum charge by means of a well-designed float charging circuit. The other UPS unit had its power transformer and all other parts removed, so it's now the metal cabinet that will soon be hosting a nice 2 vacuum tubes linear power amplifier and its built-in power supply for an amateur radio station. This is about to be finished soon, probably before year's end. Just take a look around and see at home or at work. You may find all the electronic equipment that may be stripped of many parts before sending them to a recycler. And now, a short break for a musical interval, just as a refresher in the middle of the program. This is DXers Unlimited, and now is item 3. Ask Arnie, la número uno, the number one most popular station of this program, is now on the air. Answer listener Joaquin from Veracruz, Mexico, who listens to our 6,000 kHz frequency. He's a regular listener also of our Spanish language radio hobby program, En Contacto. Joaquin is very concerned about the extremely high background noise level at his apartment building located at the beautiful Bocas del Rio neighborhood of Veracruz. Joaquin tells me that in his email that it is next to impossible to tune in, but the most powerful AM Mexico City stations on the AM band and reception from 2 megahertz all the way up to the top of the 10 meters diameter band is also blocked by very high noise levels when he uses his rooftop 2 sets of nest of dipole antennas for the 80 to 10 meters band. He has 2 sets of antennas. One has the 80, 40, 30, and 20 meter dipoles in parallel, fed by meters of 1-to-1 balance, while antenna number 2 has parallel dipoles for the 17, 15, 12, and 10 meter band. They are very well built 1-to-1 balance and right core transformer, he tells me. Joaquin adds that he's using the higher frequency band, the net of dipoles, a special double shielded coaxial cable that when installed proved to be picking up less noise than the typical RT213 50 ohm coaxial cable previously used by this installation. He says that his low frequency band net of dipoles rooftop antenna is now practically useless because it picks up a tremendous amount of noise locally, practically 24 hours of the day. There's the noise present. Something happens around midnight because somewhat lower noise level is observed around local midnight and until sunrise when it rises again to very high levels. He also ends his very well documented email by asking me to recommend an antenna or antennas that could have helped him deal with the very high noise level present at his location that makes his ham radio station practically useless. In a few seconds I'll be answering the question just at the church break here now for station ID. Ahí va otra cortinita. Amigos, this is Radio Havana Cuba. Happy holidays to you all. The name of the show is DXers Unlimited, and here's the reply to listener Joaquin's questions about what antenna patch could help him deal with his very high noise local levels. Amigo Joaquin, there are 2 antennas that have proven to be quite effective at locations that have very high radio frequency broadband noise levels as yours. One, you have heard about here at DXers Unlimited countless a number of times, answering similar questions sent by listeners. I'm talking about a well-built, well-constructed, tilted, terminated folded dipole, the TTFT antenna, for the frequency range from about 6 to 30 megahertz. That will need to use an antenna of about 16 meters overall length. In order to be really effective, the best way to install it is a sloper antenna with a tilt angle between 30 and 45 degrees. So, in actual practice, the TTFT will need less space than its 16 meters overall length to work properly. All I can say is that although the TTFT does introduce a certain amount of power loss when you are transmitting, a side-by-side comparison with a half-wave dipole cut for a specific operating frequency always shows, it demonstrates clearly that the TTFT is a much quieter antenna by all standards. Looking at the baseline of a spectrum analyzer, a complex instrument, and switching between the 2 antennas, one can actually measure the difference in noise level, and it shows in favor of the TTFT by leaps and bounds. The other antenna that will certainly help you deal with the high ambient radio frequency broadband noise is one I use here at home at your downtown Veracruz neighborhood. Is the time-proven tunable magnetic loop. Tunable, yes, you have to tune it. And this is a much challenging antenna to use because it requires constant retuning due to the very high Q factor or sharpness or resonance of the antenna. It also acts as a very efficient filter. And when located at the rooftop of your place, your apartment building, it must be operated by means of a very high precision remote control system. And by the way, professional magnetic loops are very expensive, while well-built, if you are building them at home, well-built home ones can provide the same excellent performance at much lower cost. It takes some time to build them, you have to learn, but once you master the building of the magnetic loops with the tunable system, you will be enjoying them for a long time. And now, our next radio-related item here at the weekend edition of DXers Unlimited, coming from the weekend edition of DXers Unlimited, information about the Brazilian time standard station that operates on the frequency of 1000 megahertz, 10 megahertz. The transmitting is running 1 kilowatt into a 1/2 wave dipole antenna, and it has the call sign or call letters PPE, Papa, Echo. It uses standard A3H modulation, that is a full carrier with 1 sideband suppressed. The transmission context consists of sending the Brazilian legal time, that is UTC-3, using a female voice that said Observatorio Nacional, followed by the current time in hours, minutes, and seconds, and sending a short beep tone of 1,000 hertz every second, 300 milliseconds long beeps at the 58, 59, and 60 seconds of each minute, making the station very easy to distinguish, to identify from other time stations like WWB and WWBH. My understanding is that the station doesn't claim to be a frequency standard transmission, although it should be for all practical purposes very close enough to 10 megahertz. And now, at the end of the program, a short form solar activity report. Short form means high frequency propagation of data is going to be rather poor, although the sun continues to be in a very quiet state with just a single sunspot in sight Saturday morning when I wrote the script of this program. And by the way, I also observed a nice winter sporadic layer opening an event just a few minutes before the program was to be recorded. Tuesday and Wednesday UTC days. And do not forget to send me your Radio Havana related questions, because on many occasions the answers, I've been told by listeners, have proven to be quite useful to many other people around the world that need to know more about how to use the radio efficiently. Send your email to info.rhc@enet.cu. Again, info.rhc@enet.cu. And of course, the original reports and comments will be most appreciated by our engineering department and by yours truly too. So again, happy holidays, and see you soon again.
And that's all for today. This is Arnie Coro, Radio Amateur CO2KK, your host here at Radio Havana's DXers Unlimited, saying 73 and very good DX.
DXers Unlimited heard every weekend on Radio Havana Cuba.